$4,044 more for SSI right now in 2025, as it is yours as a Supplemental Security Income beneficiary. I have all the details for you here in the video. Let's get into it and talk about all the details. All right, now first off, everything I'm talking about here in this video directly pertains to SSI, otherwise known as Supplemental Security Income, which go out to about 8 million people every single month, administered by the Social Security Administration, and these benefits are vitally, critically important for the people that receive them, and I think if you're an SSI beneficiary, you probably agree with that. Now, I think you probably also agree with the idea that these benefits, although very nice, are actually very, very low, and the last few years here have been very, very difficult for these individuals who've been living on these benefits, sub $1,000 per month. In other words, $967 is the maximum right now. That's a massive problem. So I'm going to be discussing this $4,044, how there's a major, major, major discrepancy out there right now as it pertains to these benefits and some other metrics that are in play right now for 2025, and again, how this translates into over $4,000 for the entire year. And I want to break down some details of the SSI program as well, and again, point out some of the major, major flaws of the program. Again, I'm not here to sit and bash SSI. In fact, it's a great program. Don't get me wrong. Without this program, it would be really bad, right? It'd be a really bad situation for the nearly 8 million people that rely on these benefits. Don't get me wrong. Program is great. However, I do think this much. It needs to be fixed in a massive, massive way. And there's actually some plans that are out there to do exactly that. And if I can do anything, even if making a video like this and maybe somebody like, who knows, a lawmaker, some elected official, something like that, maybe comes across this video and sees this information, maybe they'll have a little bit of a light bulb moment. Maybe they'll have a little bit of an idea. Maybe this will give them some information that they never otherwise would have thought about, that'll maybe get some action on this, right? So anyway, it's worth talking about for sure, because here's the thing. If nobody talks about it, nothing gets done, and nothing will ever be done unless somebody makes a big deal about it, and that's exactly what I want to do right here, okay? Okay, so anyway, let's talk about SSI. Okay, now as you recognize, and again, I'm just going to say this is very obvious, you already know this, but I'm just going to say it anyway, just for context purposes, so we have these numbers to work with. Right now, the maximum benefit for an individual, $967, maximum benefit for a married couple, $1,450 for 2025, right? Now here's another metric as well, and I have talked about this metric in other videos, but I want to point it out again here, which is the federal poverty line right now in 2025. What is it? $15,650 for an individual and $21,150 for a married couple, okay? Or I should say for a household of two, technically, for the federal poverty line. Okay, so those are the federal poverty line numbers on an annualized basis for the entire year. However, let's talk about these on a monthly basis now as well. Okay, federal poverty line, $15,650 divided by 12 months comes out to $1,304 a month. Okay, keep that number in mind. Next, the federal poverty line for a household of two, again, $21,150, or divided out on a monthly basis is $1,762. Okay, now that we have all those numbers, let's look at the differences here. Okay, remember I said the federal poverty line for an individual on a monthly basis is $1,304. However, the maximum benefit right now is $967 for an individual receiving SSI, a difference of $337 a month. That's a major, major discrepancy, which, by the way, on a percentage basis, that's nearly 35% below the federal poverty line. The maximum SSI benefit is about 35%. It's actually a little bit less than 35%, but it's just under 35% below the federal poverty line. That's nuts. It's a huge, huge, huge discrepancy there. Okay, now here is where this comes in. Remember I said the discrepancy on a monthly basis is $337. Now, if we were to take this and multiply it out by 12 months for the entire year of 2025, that is a difference of $4,044. Okay, so technically, if the SSI program were doing what it was originally formed to do, basically keep parity with the federal poverty line. That's literally what this program was set up to do back in the 70s when it was brought in. So back in the 70s under Richard Nixon, they brought in the SSI program. The whole purpose of this program was to basically put, like an income floor in place, or essentially a monthly stipend in place for those people who are under the age of 65 and living with a disability, or 65 or older who have limited income and limited resources, basically allowing these individuals to draw on this program so that they have financial resources, so that they're not reliant on friends and family and neighbors and acquaintances and people for financial stability. Okay, sounds like a good program. Yeah, just keep parity with the federal poverty line. In other words, stay equal to the federal poverty line every single year, and we're good. At least we know that these individuals would not be at least living below the federal poverty line, right? So that's literally the purpose of the program. So it started out as an anti-poverty program. It's now, as you've heard me say before in other videos, unfortunately, it has fallen into a poverty program because these benefits have fallen behind so much. In fact, you just heard me say it. On a monthly basis, these benefits are below the federal poverty line on an individual level by $337 a month. That's nuts, or 35% below the federal poverty line. That is craziness, $4,044 on an annualized basis below the federal poverty line. So in other words, what I really mean by this, and again, why I wanted to make a big deal about this and why I said earlier, who knows, maybe some person, like an elected official, a lawmaker, who knows, who may come across this video. But if you're watching, does that not ring a little bit of a concern bell in your mind? To me, it does, right? This is massively concerning, especially the group of people that are drawing on these benefits, okay? Now, if these benefits were going out to, say, who knows, a separate group of people, maybe it wouldn't be, as big of a deal. I don't know. But my point is, let's look at the group of people that are receiving these benefits. A vulnerable group by nature, right? You see this out there. Again, that's not really me just coming out and saying, oh, this is a vulnerable group. You see it all the time, right? People with disabilities, seniors over the age of 60 or 65 or older, living with a limited income and limited resources. Overall, a group that has a lot of living expenses and maybe not have access to maybe additional income or being able to get out and, earn some extra income for whatever reasons, things like this. So overall, generally somewhat of a vulnerable group. And here we are, stiffing them month over month by $337 or over $4,000 a year with this program. I don't know. Just something about that seems super messed up. And now here's the thing as well that's interesting about SSI. How much income can you have on a monthly basis or even for the entire year as an SSI beneficiary? Virtually nothing. You can have virtually nothing as an income as an SSI beneficiary before they say, sorry, we're cutting off your benefit because you've earned too much money. So a lot of the times, and I've seen this down below, I've had conversations with people over the years. I've seen this so many times. People coming in saying, I need more money. I'd like to do something. I can't work at all. I'm scared I'm going to lose my benefit. Or people that receive other benefits that come in and say things like, I can work 4 hours a week because I'm afraid I'm going to lose my benefit. That's no way to live. I mean, seriously, this program is set up in such a way that, again, don't get me wrong, not sitting here to try to bash the program. It's a good program that's helping out a lot of people. But the program is set up in such a flawed way that it penalizes anybody for trying to do anything to better their lifestyle and to better their financial situation. Somebody's just trying to live, trying to put some food on the table, trying to pay all the bills, and here they are being penalized? I don't know. Something about that doesn't make sense to me, but that's just me. I would certainly not structure the program in this way. That's just my opinion. If I were in control of this thing, it'd be structured totally different. It'd be structured as a reward program, not a penalty program, is basically how it's set up now, right? I mean, here's the thing. If you're an SSI beneficiary, you know it. There's the marriage penalty. There's the asset allocations and the asset limitations. In other words, you can have $2,000 as an individual or $3,000 as a married couple. If you exceed those limits, say goodbye to your benefit because they're going to be garnished, right? If you earn over the threshold, say goodbye to your benefit, they're going to be garnished. It's not a good situation. So anyway, I want to make a big deal about this so we can see the discrepancies. That's the problem, okay? And essentially, if this program were keeping with parity with the federal poverty line, this is what we'd be looking at. $4,000 more per year per beneficiary maximum, right? Not bad. So, don't get me wrong, still be tough out there, but it'd certainly be a bit easier than it is now trying to live on $967 or $1,450 as a household of two married people, right? Anyway, I'm here for you in any way I possibly can be. Again, I like to bring all the details, bring in the updates, the headlines, anything coming up impacting you, your money, your benefits, your lifestyle, anything like that, or anything you can possibly grab or take advantage of with all the different programs, the reform, the bills, the packages, the proposals, anything like that. I want to do what I can for you. So again, if I can ask a huge favor of you, number one, please subscribe to the channel. It is 100% free to do so. Big subscribe button down below. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that. Thanks so much for being part of the community. Also, if you know one or two people that benefit from this video or any of the other videos here on the channel, thousands and thousands of videos, feel free to share this video with them. 100% free to do so. There's a share button down below. Thank you so much. Also, check out the other thousands of videos in the video library, or down below in the description or the top of the comment section. I've hand selected some very popular videos for you there. Check those out, or right now popping up on your screen, you'll see some videos there. Otherwise, please just have a nice day. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for your support here in the community. Thank you for allowing me to advocate and represent you. Thank you for your trust, and thank you for just letting me be here for you every single day, and for continuously watching these videos. Truly do appreciate it. We've got to stick together right now. All right, anyway, have a nice day. Have a good one, and I hope I can see you again soon in the next